Hey you guys, welcome back to Southern Latitudes. I'm Robin and I garden in East Central Florida, and I try to help especially Florida gardeners know how to grow what and when and in their yards. And today I'd like to focus specifically on 5 fruit trees in my yard. The first one's going to be the Tropic Sweet. Next we'll go to the Tropic Snow, then the Red Nectarine over there, and the Scarlet Beauty Plum, and then the Pickering Mango. So that's the order I'm going to do them in. So here I am right in front of my Tropic Sweet Peach, and this is a beautiful specimen right here. We put it in April of 22. It likes to grow in zones 8 through 10. If you have a pot for it, it can grow in a pot, and it can grow in zones 4 through 10, but you'll have to probably move it in, if you're going to get snow and freezes. It's the beautiful thing about it, and it says it in its name. Oh, here comes the sun. It doesn't need many chill hours. It's a low chill hour type of fruit, so it's 200 chill hours. It creates a medium-sized peach with a freestone inside. It's orange skin and also sort of a yellow flesh on the inside. It's very juicy, very sweet. It likes the full sun, which is why it's standing right here. And it likes to be in, oh, look at those beautiful blooms. Let's talk about those. So they're sort of a beautiful pink, and they come out in February, and then usually harvest around June or July. This whole plant grows to be about 15 to 18 feet high by 15 feet wide. Of course, you can prune it much smaller. Make sure it has a rich but well-draining soil. I do recommend that you use a fruit spray on this, usually something with a fungicide in it, like a copper fungicide, or perhaps neem oil. The goal would be to do that before the blooms come out, and I have already done that. These are self-pollinating trees, but I do also hand pollinate right now because some days are very cold here, and so therefore the bees aren't always out. So I ensure that I'm going to get fruit by hand pollinating this. I have a beautiful little peach right here, and I should be getting some more. These are just gorgeous, and now we're starting to see the leaves. Also, before we go to the next plant, I want to say between the peaches, the nectarines, and the apples, and the plum in my yard, I do have to strip them in Central Florida, hand strip them, because they do not lose their own leaves, because we have such a short winter and we don't really trigger for them to drop their leaves. So all that was done usually around Christmas time. Some people prefer, I guess if you're inland more, like towards Orlando or even the West Coast, you might want to start early December. I think I actually did mine this year around New Year's Day. All right, you guys, I'm next to my new tree, the Tropic Snow Peach, and this one just got in the ground this week. I purchased it around October when it went on sale, and so it's a very young specimen. It's Prunus persica was the genus species name. It was actually modeled after something from China, a Chinese type peach, but then it was further developed at the University of Florida and the Texas A&M agricultural colleges. So it is zone 4, 8B to 10A, which is what I am. I used to be 9B up until last year. It does grow approximately the same height and width as the Tropic Sweet, which is 15 by 15. And the only difference really that I can see is that it has a white flesh on it. Here I have full sun, and not today though. I have well-draining soil, and because it just got here, I haven't actually mulched it yet, but it does like a lot of mulch. It is self-pollinating, and as you can see, it blooms right now, which is the first week of February, and then it is ready to be harvested after 90 to 97 days, or approximately June. you know. um, both these peach trees, like, well, especially this one, because this one needs to be established and it is not yet. So it will need about 2 to 3 gallons each week until I start seeing it really take off, which probably by summer rains, that's at the end of May for me, that I probably will have to stop watering it and let nature take its course. But for right now, it will need to get extra water on it. Again, you want to put some fruit spray on it through the winter months when it's dormant. You will have to strip this tree as well. And I would choose probably a neem oil and perhaps a copper fungicide as well. Read the directions on your containers to know exactly how much to put of each of those in there. These blooms are just slightly lighter pink than the Tropic Sweet. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's got a whole bunch ready to go. And I'm looking forward to this. Now, this I thought was broke, and perhaps at one time it was broke, but it seems to be pretty stable on there. So I'm thinking the thing is just gonna make a right angle. I don't know, maybe I should cut that off. It is a little funny looking. It's got a beautiful shape to it already. So we'll just go ahead and continue to give it the goblet pruning shape, you know, where you keep the center open. But I'll probably use these 3 as my main branches. Eventually at some point I may take off this one in the pruning process, but we'll see. You know, it's beautiful. We have the goblet pruning cut over on this peach as well. All right, now right behind me I have the Sun Red Nectarine, which I purchased 3 years ago at Willis Orchard, which is in South Georgia. So it likes and prefers to be in zones 6 through 10. It can take the cooler temperatures of say South Georgia, and then it can also take the heat, which is really nice. It has a firm yellow flesh on the inside of the nectarine. It's sweet, delicious, very juicy. It ripens, well, it's blooming right now in February. In fact, it was the first one in my yard to start blooming. So really, it might have even started at the last couple days of January. And so it's really been blooming now for quite some time here on the 11th of February. But you can expect your fruit to be ripened usually about mid-May. It requires about 200 to 300 chill hours. But I will say for Central Florida, you know, I was adding it up. A chill hour is usually anything under 40 or 45 degrees, which is, you know, just depends on which website you get your information from. And I'm thinking we only had about 150 chill hours, and yet we still have blooms. I have been hand pollinating this specimen for a couple of years. Last year we got 15 fruit off of it. Well, the squirrels also helped me. They got a lot more than I did. They got about 9 of those. And we just had some drop, you know, with bad weather and winds. We usually get some pretty good storms in March and April. So have to be careful of that. But I hand pollinated it, and I hope you can see this right there. There's a beautiful nectarine right there, ready to go. I just looked up and I see there I have a couple more. I don't know if these blooms are ready to, I don't want to pull too hard, yeah. But it looks to me like we've got another piece of fruit right here. I love these blooms. These are very beautiful, delicate pink. Like, that's a great time to hand pollinate this. And then as they get a little bit aged, they go darker pink and then dry up and fall off. This one's ready to fall off. But this tree does fantastic. I do have each one of my fruit trees with a little supporting stake, just in case a hurricane or a line of storms comes up. This one is pruned with the main leader up it, but then beautiful stems going to the side. Not quite the goblet cut, but it has a lot of airflow in it. It is in rich soil, not wet. It doesn't flood back here. But I do fertilize all my trees about every 3 to 4 months. And then they have a heavy mulching. These are just oak leaf clippings that have been run over a bunch, and then I dumped them here. And then I keep them away from the base. Also with this tree, you're going to want to prevent brown rot, which is a fungus, and so you'll use a fungal spray. I use copper fungicide, but that's up to you. Make sure you follow the directions on whatever you do choose to use. Right behind me is the Scarlet Beauty Plum, and this is a self-pollinating tree, and it loves zones 7 through 10. This plum right here was developed by Robert Lambert in Wauchula, Florida. It's Prunus silencea. Silencea. Am I saying that right? I'll put it down below. It requires low chill hours. This is a little bit more of a Japanese style plum. And this one actually works in South Florida as well. So it can fruit within 1 to 3 years, which is fantastic. It makes a great tree for the backyard gardener. Now this is not as big as the peaches or the nectarine. This one only grows 10 by 10, 10 feet high, 10 feet wide. It's a little bit narrower of a tree. It enjoys full sun. I have it in partial sun right here. So it's usually a little bit later to bloom. And the blooms are not open on it, but it does have blooms right now. All of these trees like slightly alkaline soil as well. I forgot to mention that earlier. It's very low maintenance. It is about to bloom here on the 11th of February, but once it has fruit on it, you usually can pick it ripened between May to June. It has a bright red flesh on the inside and a beautiful bright red skin on the outside. Let's see if we can find you. It's also leafing out at the same time it is about to put out blooms. Oh, there we go. Can you see that one? That is about to be a bloom right there. And right here is another almost blooming area, branch. And if I remember right, these are more white. Again, with just a reminder for the fungicide to be used on this. Okay, the last fruit tree we have, number 5, is Pickering Mango. Do you see it? What? You don't see it? Oh, that's because it's way down here. This is Pickering Mango, which was developed at Zill's Orchard. It was discovered in 1983, and it was kind of close to a Cary mango, and it was just off to the side, and then they had a heavy freeze in 83 and it survived it, and so they thought it was worth keeping and developing. And there was a gentleman who decided he absolutely loved it. His name was Wayne Pickering, and he said, I love it, this is mine. So he got the tree named after him. It's so cute. It's very small, as you can see. It makes a really good condo mango for those of you that have very limited space or want to even put it in a pot. It grows very well in a pot. It's a mango, so remember, it's gonna like warm weather, so 9, 10, 11 even for your zones. It grows about 5 to 10 feet. So this one is actually a 3-year mango, and as you can see, it's already in bloom. It bloomed actually for 3 years now, so maybe it's a 4-year mango, but it's quite vigorous. And I haven't pruned it, so it's not vigorous in growth, but it's vigorous in wanting to put on fruits. Fruit are about 1 to 2 pounds, and they are yellow skin. And the more sun they're in, the more red they become, and the less sun they're in, a little bit more yellow. And so mine is in a mostly sun situation, so I'm looking for that little pink shoulders on my mango. The inside of the fruit is going to be your typical orange mango color. Now, when you bite into this mango, you will see that it's very sweet, it's fiberless, has all the traditional mango flavors, kind of similar to like a Cary or a Julia. The only difference is towards the end, they say it has more of a coconut flavor. Now, I have not actually got to eat my own Pickering Mango. I had 4 fruit on it last year, and I was recommended to take some off, so I took 2 off, and then I lost the other 2 in a storm. So it just ended up where I didn't get any last year, but I'm hoping this year to get some fruit off of it. Well, you guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it very useful to learn about the growing information on these 5 different fruit trees in my yard. I hope that you'll try them out in your yard as well. So with that said, thank you for watching. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.